All right, we're going to prune these blueberries. There's a couple things we look at first. Number one, you can look at kind of the canes and see how old they are, and they'll be grayish, kind of green. The older they get, you can see these other ones. This one's a couple years old. These ones are brand new. They're super young, and you can just tell by the color of the foot. Now, when we're pruning, we always want to take the oldest one for sure, maybe even the oldest two, and then you got to look at fruit buds on top at the same time, and that's kind of where I start. So just looking at this one's for sure the oldest. Now it has a really nice new cane coming off of it, so I'm going to leave that but take the old one. And now we just relieved a bunch of stress off of that. And then this other old one isn't too bad because there's only a couple in this bush, so I'm just going to take that one. And then I'm going to take a couple of these ones that are closer to the ground because they're old already. There's not a lot of buds on them. So I want to push as much new growth as I can to come out of the ground to create brand new canes like this. Now something like this is a little more complicated. You can see there's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 old canes. There's a couple newer ones over here. But because there's so many and this bush is kind of growing all over the place, I like to kind of keep them straight up like this and open up the center like the last one, because that way that'll help the sunlight to get to the bottom. So because of this and having so many old ones, I'm going to take a couple out of the center just to open that up. And then there's a couple of these smaller ones that are growing way off to the side. I kind of want to keep that straight and narrow. So I'm going to get rid of some of those so they're not growing too crazy. And then because there's so many gray ones, I can take a couple other ones that aren't very nice at all. And these two over here have the least amount of fruit bud on them. That's it. Same concept. Look at the oldest ones first, and then if there's any growing off to the side, and looking at fruit bud all at the same time. Now this one here is really old. This branch has basically zero fruit bud. This has only got a little bit, but there's a lot more on this one even though it's older. So I'm still going to take this one because there's less fruit bud and it's still old. So by the time we do that, a minute. That cleans it up a lot already. Now, because these are fresh transplants, I wouldn't be afraid to take another cut or two. And this one being kind of shorter, and not a lot of fruit bud in it, and it's gray, I'm going to take that whole thing. And that way you're just left with that. Now that way that'll help you with all the fruit buds that's here. You'll get a lot of fruit this year, but then you'll get a lot more growth and they'll acclimate better because you hit them kind of hard and pruned a little more. Now, here's another one, kind of the same concept where you don't have a lot of fruit bud on those older ones. Transplanting that. Nuts. All the old canes. And now I hit that fairly hard. There's not a lot left, but that's just going to help to acclimate better. This one, there's not a lot going on there. So what I like to do with this one is just take the worst one no matter what, and then you got a couple small ones here that are growing off to the side. So take those couple, and this is going to be your oldest one. We'll take it above that bottom one because this will still grow just fine and turn into a new cane. So even when there's not a lot going on, it's still worth pruning a couple of them.